Hello there, my liege, and welcome back to Firefly Studios. We're here this week to bring you part 2 of our beginner's guide to Stronghold, where we give you the lowdown on useful tactics for building, battling, and besieging. In part 1, we looked at all aspects of castle construction, assembling an imposing fortress, forging a prosperous economy, and raising a fearsome army to defend your lord and their kingdom. Now, we'll be taking that army to the front lines. Grab your swords and shields, because we're marching on the enemy keep. Sieges are a key element of the Stronghold series, from taking on the military might of the rat, snake, pig and wolf in the main campaign, to challenging the defences of historic castles in the Castle Trail. Sieging truly is at the heart of this classic RTS. And as always, if you're a seasoned Stronghold player with your own tips to share, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Are you ready, Sir William? Yeah, he's ready. Let the battle commence. First things first, like any good tactician, you'll want to assess the battlefield for potential threats or weak spots. You can always press P in single player mode to pause your game, whilst maintaining your view of the map should you need to. But you may be wondering, what exactly am I looking for? In the last episode, we talked about adding extra fortifications to your castle in order to hold off attackers. But now, flip the script. You need to consider these deadly defences from an invader's viewpoint and think about how to overcome them. If you weren't paying attention during our first lesson, here's a quick refresher.
Turn to page 394.
Ballistae and mangonels can fire over a wide range and deal a lot of damage. Moats delay troops from reaching walls and gatehouses until they dig across, which uses up valuable time. Killing pits will one-shot most units as soon as they step on them and are tricky to avoid. And pitch ditches? Well, we all know what those do by now. You've also got the enemy's army to worry about. Archers and crossbowmen in particular will fire as soon as you're within range, so be mindful of where your units are standing if you don't want them to end up as pincushions right away. No matter which threat your army is facing, a good strategy is to divide up your troops and attack the enemy in waves, rather than sending in everything at once. The purpose of the first wave is to get as close to the outer wall as possible, while ruining any traps or obstacles along the way. The sooner you get rid of these, the safer your other troops will be. Spearmen don't have much health, but do move pretty quickly in comparison to other unit types. This unfortunately makes them good candidates for cannon fodder, as explained by lead designer Simon Bradbury.
They're mainly there to get killed as cannon fodder, so that my slightly higher value macemen don't have to do the same.
Yikes. Don't be a spearman, I guess. If you've got ranged units, catapults or trebuchets in your army, you can use them to smash the walls from a distance or take down enemy troops who dare to venture outside. However, battlement crenellations, these notches of stone on top, can block incoming missiles and provide additional defense for the enemy, so be careful if you're firing at high up enemies from the ground. In return, portable shields provide cover to your troops and equipment during battle. They can effectively nullify any ranged damage. Useful indeed. Also, don't underestimate the power of control groups. By drawing a selection box over specific troops and pressing Ctrl plus a number key, you can add those units to a set group that you can easily reselect later. This is important during castle sieges, as you can move both troops and siege equipment quickly and reduce the time in which you're taking damage.
Moving off!
Depending on how many troops you send to the castle and how brutal the defences are, it might take more than one wave, but as long as you clear a path to the wall, you're doing great. With your route to the outer castle wall prepared, it's now time to break through that barrier. You have a few options for how to do this, depending on the units you have available to you. Option 1. If you have siege towers or laddermen, you can guide them to the wall for your troops to climb up. This will give them immediate access to enemy units standing on the walls or towers. Option 2. If you have a battering ram handy, dispatch the ram to the gate alongside some hardy units and bring it down. But remember, protect the ram. Option 3. Select some melee units and send them to attack the walls directly. Like the battering ram option, this will give your army a permanent entry point into the castle when you've broken through. It's worth noting that tunnelers can also be used to undermine a castle wall completely, but their effectiveness usually depends on the terrain, internal and external defences, and the quantity of tunnelers being used. But if you've had resounding success with the tunneler strategy, let us know in the comments. Once your units have breached the wall, get rid of all enemy units that you can reach. There may be additional defenses inside the castle itself, so it's worth sacrificing a few more troops to get rid of them sooner rather than later. When that section of the castle is clear, bring any surviving soldiers to a safe position. This may look like a retreat, but don't be fooled. 'Tis time for the main advance. Your army has infiltrated the enemy stronghold, but the fight isn't over yet. With so many different castle types and designs in Stronghold, you may have some more work to do. In a similar fashion to how you approach the outer wall, strategize. Divide your troops and quickly bring down any more inner walls and fortifications. Gather all of your units and advance into the castle. If there are more missile enemies on the perimeter further in, taking them down should be a top priority. You may face tougher units like pikemen, swordsmen, or knights the closer you get to the keep, but with enough troops you should be able to overwhelm them, especially if you've got a horde of angry macemen on your side.
Bash 'em, lads!
There's still the risk of encountering a fire or two in the enemy stronghold, but if you've made it this far and your infantry is still intact, you should be ready to strike the Lord of the Castle. Make no mistake, he can still deal a lot of damage to individual attackers, but like the tougher units, if you mob him enough, victory will be yours.
We have captured the castle, my lord!
You'll face a great many challenges in the world of strongholds. No battle will be the same as the one before, and there's no telling what tricks your enemies will have up their sleeves, but hopefully this guide will leave you feeling more prepared for the fights ahead. All you Stronghold veterans might have your own methods for carrying out savage sieges, so let us know your favourite tactics in the comments below. We love hearing from our lords and ladies of the realm. If you're eager to try out these tips for yourself but haven't picked up Stronghold Definitive Edition just yet, the much anticipated spring update featuring a brand new castle trail and the Valley of the Wolf DLC is coming out on April 30th, so now's the perfect time to join the fray. And as always, keep an eye out on this channel for more Stronghold updates and deep dives. See you soon!